Hello and welcome back to the garden. It is a June day. I think this is my first video in June, and the weather is like it wants to rain, so sometimes the sun is out, it's quite windy, the sky is very grey. Every now and again you get like a spatter of rain, but broadly speaking it's warm. So I have come out to play in the garden. I have so many jobs to do, but I'm not going to get anything close to through all of them. So number one job is going to be to pot on some cucumbers and courgettes. Number two job will be to prick out some seedlings. And number three job will be to plant something out. I've been sort of making bits and pieces of space here and there. So we're going to see what we can get into the ground today. It won't be loads. Look, I've planted up the pig pen. It's full of tomatoes and basil at the moment. I'm joined by a very noisy cat. So yeah, it's kind of gardening as usual. It's just getting on with all the bits. My hair is somewhat looking like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. I don't think that's anything new either. There are some things to harvest today, so I must remember to do that. And yeah, let's see what we get up to. This is everything that needs potting on, including some houseplants. And these are Zabina cuttings that I have water propagated, and they need a pot. These guys have been in the shed in this box now for a few days, so I'm going to pop those up and just put them straight in the outdoor greenhouse. These courgettes are well overdue being potted up. So I'm going to pop them in this pot as deep as possible. And I'm going to cover the whole stem up to this bit here, where you can see the leaves, with soil, and that will encourage greater root development and make a stronger plant. Now I've just checked over my tomatoes, and these ones are showing signs of being purple leaved, and that is typically a symptom of low, I think it's phosphorus or potassium. I will confirm below. So I could feed them, but I actually think that they have, it's not that they're not well fed because they've been potted up with quite a lot of bone meal, which is a slow releasing fertiliser, in there. I think it's that they're cold because the weather, we had a really hot spell just before I put these out, and since then it's been like on off, warm, cold, and it's gotten quite cold on some days. So I think these ones being just a bit younger from my seedling collection, these ones were ones that I sowed at the end of March, I do think that they're cold. I don't want to feed them because they've been outside in the rain and their soil is very saturated, so I don't want to overwater them or rot them. Instead I want to warm them up a bit and see how they do in like a week or two. So I've got to go into, I'm being attacked by cats. What you doing? What you doing? Ow, that's not kind. So anyway, I need to find some space in the greenhouse behind me. There's quite a lot of tomatoes in there that I'd sort of forgotten about. So they're all going to come out. I'm going to start, and I'm going to swap them with these ones that need to be greenhoused a little bit. And I have to figure out where to put all those tomatoes. They might end up going in pots and grow bags, that if in doubt. And I've also got a neighbour who I've said I'd give some to if I have any left over. So if in doubt, chuck them in a grow bag. It's just a really random selection of all of the things I forgot about in the greenhouse. If I am going to solve my spacing issues, I am going to need to start to plant into the second half of this bed. At the moment, it's a massive mishmash of stuff that's mainly left over from last growing season. So I've got some red sorrel right in front of me, some rocket are the two main things. This side of the bed, I sort of created a pattern out of the square. Not quite sure that I'm going to be able to do it on this side because I've also got the sweet pea arch. I've already planted a courgette and one tomato. So I'm going to have to get creative, and I might need to either pull out or transplant some of these sorrel and rocket plants to a different part of the garden. If I can get one large plant in each corner, and then smaller plants like the lettuces or the leafy greens around that, then I'll be quite happy. I also need to find a home for an aubergine. Let's get to it. Never not weeding. This should be, because it's really sandy, this should be a really good bed for carrots, so I am hoping that I will have some space to direct sow some carrot seeds later in the week. It's just started to rain really heavily. Perfect! Just what we needed. Exactly like when I potted them up, or yeah, potted them up is the right word. When I've planted these tomatoes out, I have dug the deepest hole I can manage, and I have planted the plant as deeply as possible for exactly the same reason, so that when this is growing roots, it will start to grow more roots from the stalk, and then it will be a much more stable plant. This is a bush variety, so this is going to go bananas. They just grow massive and unwieldy, and they can't support themselves, and so yeah, a really strong root system is pretty important, and I've done it to that little one over there, and also that much bigger one right there. Look at the sweet peas. Still very excited by this. I think this is the most successful garden project, or one of the most successful garden projects I've ever had. Now I need to find these some stakes. I have got a lot of parsley and a lot of dill, and I want to plant these out amongst the tomatoes. I've got loads of basil as well, but that needs a little bit longer before it goes out, and these are ready. So my target location in the garden is in these gaps around the tomatoes. Got to be careful though, because although I have planted one dill over there, I later learned that you should not plant dill with carrots. So I need to be a bit careful. So I think I will put, I've got some more lettuces which I can put here. I think I'm going to put a parsley somewhere in this bit, and then I'll put dill in that bit and in that bit. And then I'm going to go and have some lunch because I'm suddenly feeling really hungry. So this video might either end suddenly or be spread over a little bit longer period of time. I have no idea what's going to happen next. We shall see. Let's get that little job done first though. Okay, I am back, but I'm not going to do loads more. I'm just going to pot up these house plants and then I will take them in. I have 2 spider plants. These are cuttings from at least a year ago, maybe a bit longer. You can see that there's roots coming out of the bottom, so definitely needs a bigger pot. I've got 2 of these. And then these Zabina. With the Zabina, I don't know if I'm going to try and pot them up into individual pots or put a couple all in one. I'll see what pots I can find first. I just took this one out of its pot. Look how pot bound it was. All wrapped around in a circle. I'm going to tease these roots out of it before I put it in its new home. And I think I'm just going to put it in one size bigger pot. If you like houseplants, you've probably already got a spider plant, but if you haven't, they are practically unkillable. And they make babies very quickly. So you buy one spider plant, you have spider plants for life. And the last job for today, I'm going to try and prick out some of these cabbage seedlings and purple sprouting broccoli. I do not need this many purple sprouting broccoli, but the seed was really old, so I didn't know if it was going to germinate, so I emptied the whole packet into the seed tray, and now I have hundreds, so I don't need them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to have to be disciplined and throw some of them away, which you're all experienced gardeners, I'm sure. Once you've sown a seed and seen a seed germinate, it's really difficult to throw it away and think, I don't need that, I can put it on the compost heap. There is just a tendency, or at least I certainly have a tendency, to always want to save every single seedling I've ever grown. regardless of whether or not I have room for it. So some discipline is going to be needed. I've put them in the normal 6L tray. I've put 2 in each just to get as many as possible, and these guys are going to have to go in the compost, and I'm doing this on camera so that you can all keep me accountable. Here we go. Here we go. Through the garden, trying not to trip because I'm looking through the camera screen. Into the compost bin, which is getting very full, and bye friends! I miss you already. Man, that was tough. Thanks for your support. I'm going to do the same again with the cabbages, but I couldn't find a 6L tray, so I'm going to do this smaller one, which is 9. Cabbages are done. Got to say farewell to the rest of these seedlings. Try not to trip over everything. Bye. Done. And that is me done for this session in the garden. I have suitably muddy hands and dirty fingernails. I have potted up loads of the things that needed to be potted up. Even planted out some stuff. So, not that the greenhouse is getting much emptier, but yeah, we'll work on that. I have some time off from work coming up, so I am planning on spending a lot of time in the garden. So hopefully in my next video I'll have some exciting new and potentially finished projects to share with you. Until then, I hope you have a lovely week in your gardens. Leave me a comment to let me know what it is that you're up to right now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.